Animals in Battle Nations. What's up, gentlemen? In today's video we're going to be talking about animals again, and cover the various critter units that I left out in part 1. They're all going to be in their own categories, except for legendary units, where I'll talk about all of them in a row. Just before we start, I will say that I am leaving out the Plasma Mammoth for obvious reasons. We don't have any of the stats or information on its attacks or its health, and once we get it, it would make more sense to make a review video that directly talks about both the Patreon units instead of having them in this video. Moving on, we're going to start off with some miscellaneous Raptor units that I missed, which the first is the Allied Skirmisher. You unlock this unit at level 45 at the Raider training camp for 45 nanos, and it's pretty similar to the one you fight in game, but its stats get pretty crazy as you rank it up. Both its talons and the hand cannon can dish out some seriously good damage, along with both having very good crit chances. It's also worth mentioning that the hand cannon has 75% armor piercing, so it can be kinda treated as a tank shot that has an above average crit chance. It also gets a good amount of health, getting up to 415 at R6, as well as getting 50 dodge, which is nice. The part that makes this unit really nice is the fact that it only costs gold and steel to heal, so it's not a huge deal if one goes down. It's also worth mentioning that this unit at one point was actually in the prestigious academy for 35 stars, which explains why its damage stats are above average compared to the other Raider units. Overall, the Skirmisher is pretty solid, and if you're in a situation where you can't use tanks, it can be a decent replacement. The other Raptor unit is weirdly Rudok the Red-Nosed Raptor, which was a limited time Christmas mission reward from the Frontier Jubilee charity drive. This unit could basically be treated as an upgraded version of the normal Battle Raptor, having much higher damage and a way better crit rate, as well as having a second attack where you could hit the whole front row. He also had much better health, getting up to 460 at R9, whereas the normal Raptor got up to 190 at R6. The one downside is the healing price is much higher, where the normal Raptor cost 1 to 2 teeth to heal, and Rudok took 2 to 6 teeth. Overall, this was an interesting trophy unit, and was comparable to the Infected Arch Shredder, honestly. The next assortment of units is a couple Mammoth variations, starting with the Allied Mammoth Rider. This unit was originally unlocked at level 45, but was moved to 65 because you train this at the prestigious academy, and costs iron, gold, and 10 prestige stars. It had 2 attacks that dealt pretty alright damage, with one of them being an anti-air attack. It got a pretty good amount of health, reaching up to 600 at R6, but the best part of this unit is the healing cost. It only took gold to heal, which is pretty fucking insane for a unit like this, and it wouldn't be a horrible idea to use them in a boss strike, but by the time that you're at level 65 or level 70, it'll be an afterthought because of all the other amazing units or options at that point. The next Mammoth variant was the Mammoth Artillery, which is unlocked at level 55 at the Vehicle Factory and costs 65 nanopods to train. I talked about this unit in the Evolution of Artillery Units video, and to keep it brief, it's a pretty solid unit in the damage department, but lacks any armor piercing, which is sorta lame. It does have pretty decent health, getting up to 600 at R6, and when one dies it spawns a War Mammoth to take its place, but costs steel, gold, and 2 to 6 teeth, which, all things considered, isn't that bad to heal. Overall, this unit seems pretty damn good, and I could see it being nice for nuking a single target. Just, I wish it had some armor piercing. The last Mammoth variation is the Mammoth Tank, which was a promo unit that you could purchase at level 45 at the Vehicle Factory or Animal Trainer for 70 nanopods during the weekend starting May 31st of 2013. It was also possible to get one of these in the Secret Vault, where it showed up a couple of times. This unit was extremely solid and was comparable to the Mega Tank in a lot of different ways. First off, its damage on the single target shot was higher than the Mega Tank, and also had a flechette shell that covered a pyramid shape and dealt pretty good damage as well. The health on the Mammoth Tank was also higher than the Mega, getting up to 995 at R6 compared to the Mega Tank, which only got up to 940 at R6. But with that, we have the downsides. The Mammoth Tank took steel, gold, 1 to 2 widgets, and 1 to 2 necklaces to heal, which was kinda fucking pricey, but at least it had the same gimmick as the Mammoth Artillery, where it would spawn a War Mammoth after dying. Overall, the Mammoth tank is still super good and was a decent alternative to the Mega while also being cheaper nano-wise. Moving on from the Mammoth units, we have the Spiderwasp units. Starting off with the Spiderwasp Striker, which was a promo unit which appeared in the Animal Trainer for 60 nanos during a special promotion on August 30th, 2013. And just like the Mammoth tank, it also appeared during a couple secret vaults. This unit was meant to be a mid or backline unit that dealt okay single target damage with its poison shots. It did have a 5-turn DOT on its poison, but the damage itself was somewhat weak, so it wasn't that amazing. It had an alright amount of health and armor, reaching up to 475 at R6, but the worst part was that if it died, this thing costs 1 to 2 necklaces and gold to heal, which once you take that into account, plus its bad resistances and low damage, it's kind of a shit-ass unit, honestly, and should be avoided if it doesn't receive a buff. The next Spiderwasp unit is the Royal Spiderwasp Warrior, which is unlocked at level 70 at the prestigious Academy for gold and 65 prestige stars. This was a pretty good frontline or midline unit that dealt decent damage with both attacks while also having a pretty solid amount of health, getting up to 600 at R6. This unit was unironically pretty damn good for the Spiderwasp Queen because you can't use vehicles, and this thing had the health and resistances of a vehicle, plus the fact its 3x3 Mandibles attack deals damage with the fire damage type, which the Spiderwasp Queen's armor and health is weak to. The one downside is that it is kind of pricey to heal, costing between 2 and 8 skulls plus some gold, which does kind of suck, but all around, it's a very solid unit. The last Spiderwasp unit is kind of a double whammy, and it is the Spiderwasp Egg. This unit was actually a boss drop from the Spiderwasp Queen, where it would have a 6% chance to drop on defeat. This was a defensive unit that was pretty similar to the portable electric fence, but it would deal large amounts of poison damage with a 55% chance to inflict the poison DOT in 3 tiles in front of it. The damage on this attack is actually pretty damn strong, and the fact that it has 950 health and armor at R6 makes it look pretty awesome. That's when you notice that when it dies, it spawns a Spiderwasp drone to take its place. As far as I know, this is the only way to use the Spiderwasp drone in a fight, and while it doesn't do crazy amounts of damage, it is a nice secondary line of defense once the egg itself goes down. The unfortunate part is that it does cost a whopping 5 to 23 vials and some gold to heal, which is extremely shiesty. Overall though, the Spiderwasp Egg will definitely be a boss drop you'll have a bunch of because they're not super uncommon, and I honestly think that they get shit on a bit too much because of the existence of the portable electric fence, which is fair, but still. Moving on from land critters, let's talk about a couple naval units, the first of which is going to be the Baby Grouper. This unit is unlocked at level 31 after building the fish hatchery and costs 7 to 10 teeth and some gold to produce. The Baby Grouper is pretty damn good, all things considered. It deals relatively solid damage with both attacks, but the trick up its non-existent sleeve is the gigantic crit bonuses that it possesses. Along with those bonuses, it has 35% armor piercing, which is nice because a lot of the naval enemies have armor, so this lets it dig into them a bit more. The Baby Grouper also has pretty good resistances and gains a pretty good amount of health when ranking, where it can reach up to 530 health at R8, which is nothing to shake a stick at. The one part that does kinda suck is that it does cost 2 to 6 teeth to heal, which isn't horrible, but it does mean you can't just toss them into a difficult encounter without them dying. It is worth noting that this thing works wonders against the Dreadnought for taking out the subs in a free-to-play run, which is really nice. The next naval unit is the Baby Grouper's older brother, which is the Monster Grouper. The Monster Grouper is unlocked at level 33, and is also from the fish hatchery, but costs 55 nanos to purchase. The Monster Grouper has 2 attacks that both deal pretty nice amounts of damage with 50% armor piercing, and have decent chances to inflict breach, which is a nice bonus. Just like the Baby Grouper, they also gain some amazing crit bonuses, which can definitely help, especially if it inflicts breach in the same attack. Compared to the Baby Grouper, it also has better resistances and way more health, reaching up to 775 at R8. The healing cost is a bit more, with it costing 2 to 8 teeth plus gold, which hurts, but if you have your repair bays upgraded, it shouldn't be too bad. It's also worth noting again that these things are amazing for the Dreadnought and can one-shot the subs sometimes, which definitely helps getting to a god run. The last naval unit is the Kraken Tentacle, which is a boss drop from the Kraken at a 5% chance to receive after defeat. The Kraken Tentacle is ridiculous. It's kind of like you took the monster grouper and drastically increased the damage of the attacks, but then reduced the health and resistances a bit. But to be fair, I think it is worth it. The damage on both of these attacks is genuinely stupid, and when you take into consideration the giant crit rates plus the fact that it inflicts breach on its submerge attack, it's kind of a beast of a unit. The downside is that it takes 3 rounds of prep before it can attack, which does kind of suck, and kind of only makes it useful for long, drawn-out encounters or for a naval boss strike. But when it hits like a motherfucker. Its health and resistances are a bit lower, with it only getting up to 610 at R7, but to make up for it, its healing costs are similar to the baby grouper, only costing 2 to 6 teeth and a little bit of gold, which isn't too bad. Overall, the tentacle is pretty good, and while I'm not super happy about the fact that I have 2, when a boss strike comes around, they're definitely going to be put to some use. Before moving on to the 4 legendary critters, there's one Bigfoot variant that I forgot to mention in part 1, and that is the Bigfoot Shaman, which is a promo and could be purchased at the Animal Trainer for 75 nanopods between January 10th, 2014 and January 15th, 2014, and also appeared in a secret vault. This unit shared a couple stats with the adult Bigfoot, but instead of having claw attacks, he has 2 spear attacks where he would huck a spear and deal decent single target damage, or several spears where it did a reverse pyramid pattern of damage. He had a pretty good amount of health, getting up to 720 at R6, but unfortunately has the same problem where fire damage just annihilates him. He also weirdly only took 1 to 2 skulls and gold to heal, which is honestly pretty damn good. Overall, this unit is okay, but I don't think it's worth 75 nanopods, honestly. Now on to what you guys probably clicked on this video for, the legendary animals. We'll go in order of release, starting with one of the best, the legendary Mammoth. This unit, just like all the other legendary creatures, was a promo and was available from December 12th, 2013 till December 17th, 2013 for 85 nanopods. It also featured in a couple different secret vaults, and the second breaking into the vault event on the first day for 64 nanos. This unit was fucking amazing. It had 5 attacks in total. There were 2 stomp attacks that were alright but nothing to write home about. A log toss, which was nice for taking out a plane and had a good crit rate. Then finally the 2 roar attacks. You unlock the normal roar by default and the turbo roar at rank 5, and honestly they could have just kept the first version and it would still be insane. First off, it dealt crazy good damage for an attack that could hit the whole field, had an amazing base crit of 25%. Then on top of it, a 60% chance to stun. This unit was so fucking good for boss strikes because you could basically stun the entire field and pick things apart super easily. If that wasn't enough, it also had really good health and armor, getting up to 880 health at R9, and its healing cost was pretty cheap, all things considered, only costing 2 to 8 teeth and some gold. The one part I find funny is the amount of SP going from R8 to 9, which is 2.3 million, but honestly that's not even bad because this thing will be in every formation and will make them a breeze. Overall, this is a fantastic unit and will definitely get nerfed into the ground. The second legendary animal isn't quite as good, but it is still an amazing unit, and it is the legendary boar, which could be purchased at the animal training camp for 85 nanopods from February 14th, 2014 till February 19th, 2014. And just like the Mammoth, this unit appeared in several secret vaults and in the second breaking into the vault event on the third day for 64 nanopods. The legendary boar had 4 attacks where 2 of them were pretty damn good, and the other 2 were decent. The rock and tusk attacks were pretty alright, the crit rates on both these attacks are nice, but then you whip out the freezing roar and the charge attack, and you see why this thing is so good. The charge dealt amazing damage in a column with great crit bonuses and a 70% chance to stun, and then the roar dealt freezing damage in a reverse pyramid shape and had a 75% chance to freeze. It also had a good amount of health, getting up to 830 at R9, and only costed 1 to 2 skulls, 1 to 3 teeth, and some gold to heal. This unit was commonly used against the Ancient Sentinel because it was one of the better freezing units that could actually take some punishment and deal direct freezing damage to the main body. It also had some armor piercing, so mainly you're buying this unit for that attack. Overall, this was once again a fantastic unit and really nice for the Sentinel. Next up we have the legendary Raptor, which was available at the Animal Trainer on June 26th, 2014 for 89 nanos, and also appeared in a secret vault and during the first breaking into the vault event on the 6th day for 67 nanos. This unit was the only legendary animal that I did not have back in the day, and that's not to say that it was bad. The 4 attacks that it had were all pretty solid. The Maw and Saliva attacks both dealt poison DOT, but the Maw was definitely superior, dealing way more damage and having better crit rates. Then it had 2 claw attacks, with one kind of being a cut-off version of a checkerboard pattern that was nice for boss strikes, then a jump attack that did deal great damage but was very inconsistent with the damage ranges. The legendary Raptor also had great health, getting up to 840 at R9 and costed between 3 to 12 teeth plus some gold to heal. Overall, the legendary Raptor was really good, but I don't think it was good enough for it to be more expensive than the legendary Mammoth. Now we've reached another one of those moments where Z2 truly shat not just the bed, but the entire facility, and it is none other than the legendary Sandworm. This unit could be produced at the Animal Trainer for 90 nanopods during a promotion on January 22nd, 2015, and also featured in the first Breaking into the Vault event on the final day for 68 nanopods. This unit is the best unit in all of Battle Nations. That's it. No other unit in the game has reached the levels of bullshit that this bastard has reached. It had 4 attacks where each one of them was just straight up ridiculous. The first was a down the lane flamethrower attack that had a 5-turn DOT and insane crit rates. Then a maul attack where it dealt stupid amounts of damage, also with high crit rates and 50% armor piercing. The other 2 attacks were a front row slam that dealt ludicrously high damage and had really high crit rates. Then, best of all, an attack where it hurls a molten rock that pretty much covered the whole board, dealing extremely good damage, and had a fire DOT and amazing crit chances. But that's not even why this thing is so good. This fucker got almost 1000 health at R9, and best of all, this unit had utterly retarded resistance numbers, including a complete immunity to any attack that had the fire damage type. The only thing that could touch this guy was the fact he wasn't freeze immune, so you could freeze him, then hopefully you'd kill him before he thaws out. When it did die, it only costed 3 to 12 teeth and some gold, which is dumb because this thing could cost 10 necklaces to heal, and it would still be good. Overall, this unit had health and resistances of a boss, and the fact that you could have up to 3 on a field is just broken and stupid. You could solo bosses, including the Ancient Sentinel, with just 3 of these things, which is just ridiculous. This unit was absolutely busted, and was such an obvious cash grab that your hand would have red marks on it after buying one. But with that, I think we can finally let the critters rest. If you have any opinions or memories you'd like to share about any of these units, or if I missed anything, please drop it in the comment section down below. But with that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, and subscribe. It's just crazy to me that we're already almost at 500 subs, and once we get to it, there'll be a stream definitely worth tuning into. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you later. Rudok, the Red News Rainbow?